Hey guys, welcome back. Another video with Linksy. Today we have, we've seen parts of this battle already. Those who've seen the live stream earlier, late last week, they would have seen the fight between the Lusitanis and the Achilles with no heel. And this was an interesting stream. We really enjoyed it. A large number of you came on and came to view it. Unfortunately, halfway through the battle, we had to stop because there was too much lag in game, and by so we had to, leave the game running so as not to interfere in the lag that was present. Now we have the replay, and we can judge for ourselves if this game could have been played better. Now, for those who don't know, we have the Achilles with no heel on the right. We have Egypt, Armenia, and Armenia, and on the left we have the Lusitanis, who have the Boii, Carthage, and the Nervii. Lusitanis, it must be said, they did start in a position that was very unique. I've never seen this done before. They basically started all at the center and decided who's going to take who, and going to see which army they have to fight against and how they've been placed and the such. Meanwhile, the Achilles with no heel team charges forward as fast as it can and moves up. Now, I love what the Achilles with no heel did at the start, and I'm very confused as to why the Lusitanis opened themselves to so much potential damage. I mean, right now, if these royal cataphracts come down this way, they can just ruin the day for the Boii player, because it's completely out of position. Yes, he has a few mighty horse, but just charge your Persian hoplites in, catch these guys out of position, and ruin their day. And same with the Egyptian player here. I believe it was Crag. Reese's Pieces was playing as the middle, and Gate was playing as Romania over there. And they could have just charged in. Yes, they're, Carthaginian cavalry are okay, but light horse are more than enough to block them just long enough to get the camel spearmen, Ptolemaic cavalry, and the Taurus spears. Just need to get to this line before starting to shoot. Carthage is what Carthage is, and with that little waiting time that they've spent, and there's a lot of waiting time in here, it allowed the Lusitanis to get into position that they wanted. Now the game of chess starts. Each side starts moving slightly forward, slightly backwards, moving around, trying to find a weakness and charge it in. Now we already see a weakness over here forming at the Achilles no heel line, with the line of the Egyptian army. Taurus swords were a fantastic unit, I must say, but this over here, they're joined in by Levi Freeman, so this creates a very big weakness, especially when there are Celtic warriors with Oathsworn, which will smash through Levi Freeman. This thin line will not do wonders at all. There's some spear warriors, there's some naked swords, but it's not going to do much. I believe there were the archers on here on the front, and questionable decisions. Same goes with the royal cataphracts over here and the chariots. This is no longer a good place for them to fight because they are slammed against the wall here of the map, and it's not going to go well. Meanwhile, the Lusitanis, I am not entirely sure what their idea is. They are very spread thin with regards to their Nervii. As I mentioned, they were scared of the cavalry charge breaking through, but a cav charge can break through this very easily, very effectively, and if there's support of the Armenian and Arverni player, could do much. Now, at this point, genuinely speaking, the Achilles no heel should have collapsed onto themselves, created two lines of units, and just Armenia moves here, Egypt moves here. Meanwhile, they create a spear tip, right? And they push in with Arveni. Arveni would have been able to just do enough damage to splinter the sword follower center and get to the Oathsworn. There's no chance they would have beaten the Oathsworn, but that would have invited Carthage to just swing around and try to break the Egyptians. But Egypt is more than enough, has more than enough troops to be able to kill these hoplites and these Libyan infantry in the front. They do not have much of units, quality units that they would have been able to use to break what Egypt has brought. And if the chariots are on this side, they would have been able to just smash through all of this quite easily. So with that said, you would have the boy player here collapsing, and then the Nervia player, which is I believe the most experienced, would have had problems. Now at this point we notice more gaps forming over here. This army is split into two, and I mean, Royal Cataphracts, Eastern Cataphracts are fantastic units, but they're not very mobile. They're one-shot kill unit, and you need to use them well. Meanwhile, on the other hand, what these guys need to do is that Carthage needs to collapse in a tight ball formation and smash into this line here. Just smash in, and then be quickly supported by the Boyai player and hit. They need to break there, because once they break there, Egypt is out, and that's it. Or the other option they could do is again 3 lines and charge in, break Armenia's center over here, and at the same time keep Armenia occupied with this really strong force of horses, mighty horses, noble horses, and spears. Now, we are saying this, we are theorizing, we are thinking, and it's already been 6 minutes of battle, and yet no battle has been taken. Understand that this point, this was third battle in a series. This was the deciding battle. This was what was deciding the skill of the attackers and the defenders. This was balancing out all of that in one last stand, to be held in the fields of Messina. And we're just waiting to see what happens. There's slow movements, like positionings, moving around, up and down the battlefield, moving troops as they come and go. But someone needs to take action. And honestly, what they're scared of is the first one that does take action will lose. The one difference between the two teams is that Achilles has a lot of ground to fall back on, and they should not be the ones to engage at this point because they are way too forward, way too in. There is a gap here that has formed that we haven't realized of yet, and again, this shows Carthage to be the weak point of the army, but Carthage realizes, moves in, and tries to solidify. And again, Achilles with no heel, just sitting there passively and not doing anything. The only place that cavalry should be is on this flank. Armenia should collapse in on itself, again, as I was saying, and just be prepared to take the beating of a lifetime and get ready to hold the wave of the Nervii. Once that is held, they would have been able to win this flank. Carthage falls, Boii falls, Nervii will fall. As we're saying that, we're seeing small movements, placements, counter placements from the Lusitanis. However, nothing has changed from Achilles no heel. They're still waiting. They're waiting for them to be attacked. The line of Toro spears over here has fixed itself as, again, super stretched. We're seeing a line that stretches to the end of the map from both ends. That's terrifying, because once it breaks, it snaps. And now the charge comes in. The Lusitanis take initiative and they start moving forward to charge. A few volleys appear out of nowhere. These are the Gallic hunters. They're in position. Arveni is moving in, preparing to move in. Gallic hunters getting really good shots into his Celtic slingers, really useful. The Eastern slingers are shooting into the fierce swords, and all of this madness is starting. Now we need to see what is going to happen, in which location and where and how and what. Egyptian cavalry and the chariots spring into action. I do not know why you would split your army like that far away. The chariots are charging in prematurely. The Eastern slingers are trying to fight the other Celtic slingers. Boii are charging in, and Carthage is charging in exactly as we were discussing. They would charge in against these levy freemen and put a wedge in between Arveni and the Egyptian player, falling back on themselves and creating a small wedge of its own inside. At the same time, Persian hoplites do not stand a chance against fierce swords. Eastern slingers are shooting. The hillmen over here are getting absolutely ripped. The axemen have no chance against fierce swords, Celtic swords, and the such. and there's so much cavalry over here that it is costing, charge into the rear of these slingers. They're breaking in, and these mighty horse are smashing into the eastern cataphracts, which are trying to get as much damage done as possible. However, that is going to be very limited by what is present. Carthage is smashing into that really thin line of Levy Freemen over there, and it is doing damage. These chosen swords are losing because they are fighting Oathsworn. Oathsworn are ripping through. The Celtic slingers over here are getting murdered, but there are gaps, and the gaps are forming. We have a gap over here, and Egypt hasn't even yet engaged because it was caught out of position and it did not react fast enough because it was more focused on this side, and its chariots are getting annihilated because again it is not focused on the chariots but rather it is focused on the other side. It is getting a few decent kills against these fierce swords, and it is ripping through, but it is also dying really fast. They are down to 8 chariots, 163 kills, not the best. Levy Freemen are breaking, the reserves are being charged in, naked swords will not do well, these bowmen will rip the rest. Noble swords over there doing their best. These chariots are 227 kills. Meanwhile, the cataphracts over here have been pushed back, and the victory seems to switch towards the Lusitanis, which regards to Armenia. The Nervii win. Meanwhile, Egypt is trying its best to pull back the game from the brink of defeat, charging in, doing a lot of damage, and bringing the Carthaginian player down. Losing a lot of his slingers over there, and however his bowmen are doing the damage. These battery slingers over here were broken, the missile war was won, and the Levitor spear is just absolutely annihilating the Carthaginian player. But this army needs to swing faster and needs to charge into the flank of these Libyans over there and just do the damage. The Libyan infantry over here is breaking through the line, and there's not much left. The center is breaking as we predicted because of the sword followers and the Oathsworn being more than enough room for match for the unsupported chosen swordsmen. And meanwhile, it's a full rout on the side of Armenia. Armenia is trying to hold its flank over here, but it is too late. It's being picked off one by one. And these fierce swords are just such a fantastic unit. The noble horse doing their thing. These cataphracts have gotten kills, but they did not have the anvil. They were a very good hammer, but they need an anvil. There was not a single faction here that could create such an anvil. These Libyan infantry are going down. Egyptian infantry fighting in there, but the spread has been stopped. The charge has been stopped, and over here the Carthaginian cavalry is doing its best to hold the line against these camel spearmen, these Ptolemaic cav, and light horse, which are trying to break through. So once they break through, they need to break Arveni before they break through. And Arveni has also been fallen, and it is victory for side. There is nothing they can do at this point with regards to Achilles no heel to win this fight. Balance of power is still quite equal. Well, there is one thing they can do. They need to sacrifice half of their remainder army, bring all the cavalry back, smash through this side, smash into the rear of all of these units, rout them as fast as they can, and reform a wedge formation. A wedge formation because the assault from the Nervii is going to be absolutely insane. And Nervia has not lost that much at all. Still, most of his army is intact, and wait. Oh yeah, I turned off bodies because was having lag. I'm just testing out. Bodies just vanish over time. I was seeing, but there was a lot of skirmishes over there, and yeah. Even Egypt over here. Carrion Axemen, of course, are not going to do well against these Libyan infantry. The Libyan infantry are managing to hold. Thorax swordsmen are being held by Carthaginian hoplites. Carrion Axemen should have been fighting against the hoplites, and the damage should have been done there. Missiles are moving in the rear, trying to get rear shots in, but it is too little too late. The Royal Cataphracts over here smashing into these Celtic bowmen, absolutely wiping up that unit in one go. This is exactly what you need a unit of Cataphracts to do, and they are doing it, but again, it's a bit too little too late. Arveni just has missiles left, very few units here and there, fighting, trying to hold the line at all costs. Missile units are all that's left for the I don't see this to be possible. Mboya still has a few units of Oathsworn, but again, it has lost a lot, and they are bringing all their troops here. They're trying to reform the line, but these Libyan infantry, unfortunately, are cleaning up all of these Levitor spearmen, and that is genuinely was the last stand they could have hoped for. The noble horse over here managing to break a couple of units, and they are, you know, getting on their feet. They're trying to figure out what to do. All of these missiles are just firing point blank range, killing as many as they can. The general charging in, trying to break those Carthaginian hoplites. The cavalry over here charging into the Royal Cataphracts from the Lusitanis, who are trying their best to kill that unit of Cataphracts. 242 kills. It's a decent for Royal Cataphracts, but again, Royal Cataphracts need to be doing more damage, because with this 100 kills over there, that is a shameful display, and its damage is done. Honestly, I do not see what is the possible, what they can possibly do to pull back from this. Most of their army that's remaining is missiles. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 units of missiles left, and meanwhile the others all have so much melee infantry left. Carthage and Arveni, Carthage and Boyai have managed to hold and beat back their enemies. So Egypt and Arveni did do quite a lot of damage, especially since Boyai over here seems to be almost completely out. He still has his missile units, but that's pretty much all that he has left. Carthage, on the other hand, still has quite a few good units over there left. So Carthage actually did really well against Egypt, more than I expected it to be so. And yeah, I mean, missiles at this point, there's only so much you can do, especially when they still have horses and they have noble cavalry. Yeah, which you cannot really kill with missiles in this current state. Noble horse over here, just trying his best, but these Carthaginian hoplites have held for long enough that this Libyan infantry just doing absolute damage. These fierce swords are coming in. They will die, a number of them will fall, but there's only so much you can do again, as we were saying. These Oatsworn unit from the Arveni just charging in, 19 units left. These fierce swords bombarded with every unit possible of missiles that they can come. These axemen fighting against that Celtic warrior, they're desperately trying to pull it back, but the desperation shows and it is game. There's only missile units left. Yeah. This was quite an intense battle, quite strong statement from the Lusitanis, fighting against a really good team. Both are really good teams and really fantastic teams, and I must congratulate the Lusitanis for winning the first bracket in this match. The Achilles with no heel has played also exceptionally well, especially in the first attack, and has done incredible things with regards to that. But of course they ended up losing, and unfortunately now they are out of the main bracket of the tournament. But again, they should deserve a clap, because they did really do well, and they played incredibly well, providing much entertainment for us. This was a very difficult battle to cast for me, because of course the Achilles with no heel are my friends, and I'm sorry to see them go, but I must say they were outplayed, and this was a really fantastic game. So let's see the replay, the kills. Yeah, across the board, Yoso Sirius struggled against Reese's Pieces. Over here we can see the matchup didn't go as well as for the Boyai, as for the Arveni, but the Arveni did have these freemen, which were such a weakness that allowed the Deersgerd to completely surround Craig, and Craig, even though doing really good damage against Carthage, and Carthage, as you can see, did not have much left, was getting annihilated at the end of the missiles that were left. But these chariots were needed in his side to destroy this side, and that probably provided a little bit more of a micro intensiveness that he couldn't deal with. Meanwhile, Captain Nipples fighting against the mighty Gato over here, and Captain Nipples did manage to get a really good answer to what Armenia brought to the table. It is a Pyrrhic victory. As you can see, there are barely any troops left on the battlefield, only a couple of archers for Achilles with no heel, whereas the other side just have few units here and there, couple of units. I mean, one Libyan infantry was still alive, 2 units of slingers, noble cavalry, slingers as well, and on this side noble horse, some slingers, and a couple of fierce swords that were left, and the old one. Hope you enjoyed this, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy it. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us who you believe is going to win the tournament from what you've seen till now. The battles for this week's are coming up very soon. As soon as I get a few replays, I'll close them up. You should be getting one on Saturday and you should be getting one on Sunday, but again, I'll see what I'll be managing to get. I'll be out of town on Sunday and Monday, so I won't be able to upload at the same times. There will be lag issues because the internet is very bad where I'm going to be, but the videos will still come up and I'm gonna try and upload as much as possible to make up for the fact I won't be streaming. I know how much you guys love your own battles and how much you need your own battles. Guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. This was a really intense battle and something that you can learn a lot from watching again and again, because there's so much different things that you can learn. But congratulations to all the players. This was a really fantastic battle. Take care and I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Bye bye.